Jocelyn Center Facebook fans, we're back with our Friday interviews after my 3-week vacation, which was definitely needed, and but I'm glad to be back and glad to see everything that's happening here at the Jocelyn Center. We're growing. More people are attending our programs. We're having more programs coming up. So I want to just update you on some of those. We have our one thing we're asking, because we're concentrating also on continuing with virtual programs, not only because of the pandemic that we're still experiencing, but also we've learned that people are not able to attend classes and activities, and they are familiar with technology. So we're doing more with our virtual programming, and we have in our newsletter, our online newsletter that comes out on Saturday morning, a survey. So if you'd fill out that survey to help us fine tune our virtual programming, that would be great. We'd love to hear from you. We want your opinions, and we want to know how we can better serve you. Some of the things coming up, we have Giovanni coming back, Latin dance on Mondays from 10 to 11 o'clock, Zumba with Debbie, Mondays and Fridays, 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock. And because of we're still in the pandemic, we ask you to reserve your space in the class. So please contact our program director, Melanie, and she will be happy to make sure you're in that class. And also, if you want to register for our virtual programming, you can go to our website at jocelyncenter.org, look at our programs, virtual programs, enter your email address, and you'll get the whole schedule of the virtual programs. So we want to make sure that we're providing programming for our members where you're at, rather than always where we're at. Also, we're continuing with indoor pickleball lessons with Linda, Wednesdays and Fridays. So the season's coming up. If you want to learn pickleball, now's the time to do it. And also we've upgraded our computers in our library. We're going to be offering more computer one-on-one actually computer education and training, and also some group classes. So check with Melanie on that. Brand new computers, so we've got the best technology available for you. And also our Jocelyn Wellness Center. Join Elise on Mindful Mondays. That's also on Zoom, just like this. That's on Mondays at 11 o'clock. And then we have an upcoming brain boot camp, September 27th through October 4th. And another one coming up on October 6th. So the one September 27th is in person. The one starting October 6th is via Zoom. And also our Aging Mastery program is coming up starting October 5th. And as always, if you're feeling maybe depressed or wrestling with a problem or having family issues, we have our problem solving strategies counseling program with licensed counselors that can talk with you and help you through that through our problem solving strategies. So we're here on Interview Fridays, and we're happy to have again with us, we're entering that time of year, we're happy to have Brian Bilhartz of Bilhartz Desert Insurance Agency, and he will be joining us so we can do some Q&A with him about what's coming up. Hi, Brian, welcome.
Hey, good morning. I almost said good afternoon, but it's still not quite there yet.
Not quite there yet.
So they let you out on vacation?
What?
They let you out on a vacation?
Yeah, they let me out on a vacation, and I warned them that they can't email me or call me or text.
Oh yeah, I'm sure gone. That happened.
Well, there were a few little interruptions.
Well, good for you. I'm glad to be the first interview since you come back. That's a lot of fun for me.
It was nice to get away, and I got to do a couple things. I had always wanted to see Mount Rushmore, so I got to see Mount Rushmore and go to the Black Hills. So that was fun.
How cool. Good for you.
Haven't yet posted the Facebook pictures yet, but I will. So we're coming on your busy time of year.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's here.
So tell us about open enrollment and what it means for people who are eligible for Medicare.
Yeah, open enrollment is actually a great opportunity for people to do a review, because I know in my years of experience, I can't believe I've been doing this for 14 years already. I was 12 years old when I started.
Yes, I was going to
Oh,
say, you
wait.
must have been 12 when you started.
Let me hide the gray hair. I was 12 years old when I started. So it gives people a great opportunity to do a review of, their current situation, because people's, healthcare needs can change year over year. And also the plans change a lot. So during this time of year, people can change their Medicare Advantage plan. They can change their prescription drug plan. They can go from, having original Medicare with a prescription drug plan to a Medicare Advantage plan, or vice versa. They can go from having a Medicare Advantage plan back to original Medicare. So there's a lot of opportunities to do assessments to, again, your current situation. And this is definitely the time of year to do it.
Well, and that's one thing I hadn't thought about, is that plans do change.
Oh, yeah.
And people may not be aware of it, or be advised of it, or notice that they're being advised of it. And so it's a good idea to review their plans, and also see what's the best fit for them going forward.
Yeah. As a broker, we represent all of the different plans that are available, because we want to be able to, make sure that our clients have access to whatever, is on the market for them. And really along the sides of the Medicare Advantage plans, where we as brokers find the biggest separation or difference from one plan to the next is really in the formulary, the way the plans cover medications. So when you're going down, looking at a benefit list that shows you all the co-payments for hospitals and doctor visits and ambulance, you look at the prescription drug coverage, and it just gives you the co-payments for the different tiers that are on the formulary. But what you don't see, just looking at that, you don't see which medications are placed on which tier. And obviously that can have a profound impact on, someone's outpay for their medications. I actually just found some old notes, Jack, from 5, 6 years ago. I used to, take notes on my yellow sheets, and I save all of my yellow sheets, my yellow notebook pad. And I came across a note. I was with a client who was taking several medications. And so what I would do is I wrote all the medications down, and then I wrote the name of like 5 or 6 different insurance companies, and I checked what the cost would be, for those medications with every company. And this one case in particular, one of the health plans, the total cost of the co-payments for this client's medications was going to be $195 a month. And yet there was another plan basically created the same as the first one, zero, no co-payment for all of the same exact medications. I mean, you just can't, quantify the importance of that, especially when we're meeting with, a lot of our clients that are on a fixed income, on a limited income. I mean, $200 a month, and that's a guaranteed expense because you have to take your meds every month.
Well, that's important. So we encourage people definitely to reevaluate their plans. Now, this is open enrollment, and we hear a lot about that. What should people who may not yet be 65 or may not yet be eligible for Medicare, or are 65 and working, what should they bear in mind, and how does this open enrollment affect them?
Well, there's there's so many different situations, and you bring up a good point with maybe people that are eligible for Medicare but continued working beyond that. A lot of people don't really think about it much. They think if I'm working, I have to take this insurance that they give me because that's the way it's been your entire life, right? So once you become eligible for Medicare, that's not necessarily the case. The employer still has to offer you, access to their group plan, and they can't, deny you of joining that plan if it's, especially if it's a small employer. But when it comes to, each individual, comparing and contrasting the pros and cons between what they're offered by their group plan and what they would have if they chose to go with their Medicare benefits, it's definitely worthwhile to explore. Obviously in a situation where maybe somebody is covering a dependent or a spouse that maybe not not be eligible for Medicare yet, then that's a situation where, they're going to want to stay. with that group sponsored plan. But if, those aren't factors, then it's definitely worthwhile to look into, what the options would be, just to know, the pros and the cons on both sides.
So what happens if someone is 65 and does not enroll in Medicare on their 60 when they turn 65 because they think they're already covered?
Yeah,
Especially
again,
at work.
well, yeah, so like if you're working, and you're covered by your employer coverage, in most cases, the coverage that your employer provides you is what they call credible coverage. As long as you have credible coverage, there's nothing to worry about, and you can apply for Medicare, when you retire, at age 70 or 75 or whatever age that's at. But we've recently had a handful of cases, like you mentioned, where people didn't have any credible coverage, but they denied their Medicare because they didn't want to bring on the expense of that, the Part B premium, which it's currently $148.50 a month. So when those people come out and start communicating with myself or one of my agents on my team, it's not a pretty sight, because there's very limited time frames. Like, I actually just had this conversation with one of my agents yesterday, and so I explained to him, for this client that he's working with, they're not going to be able to apply for their Medicare Part B until January of next year. They've got a window of January through March to apply for Part B with Social Security, but that Part B coverage won't begin until July of next year. So along all of that time of when they reached age 65 and first became eligible for Medicare until July, Medicare is going to be keeping track of a penalty. And so that penalty, it's 10%, it's 1% per month, up to 10% per every 12-month period. And it's a permanent penalty. So if you're talking to somebody who maybe became eligible for Part A Medicare when they turned 65, 5, 6, 7 years ago, now you're talking about a 50, 60, 70% a penalty on top of whatever the Part B premium is. And that continues for the rest of their life.
So it's very important. That's what I understand. Even if you have insurance and you're fine with it, you have to at least apply for Part A or register for Part A. I'm not sure what the right term is.
Yeah, enroll, register, sign up.
Register. Yeah. But you can, if you are happy with your coverage and the financial works out, you can continue with your what we think of health insurance with a primary doctor. You can continue with that, or talk with someone like Brian and see what the best scenario is for you, even if you do have coverage to work.
Yeah, it doesn't, and this isn't just something for Bilhartz Desert Insurance. This is all of the agents that are, here locally in the Coachella Valley. We're not going to charge any fees to just put our eyeballs on your situation, ask you some questions, and then give you, what your options are. Nobody's going to charge you any fee for that. But I think it's a great investment in your time, and people's time that are eligible for Medicare, to just know. And so that way they know whatever decision they make, whether it's to continue with their, employer sponsored coverage or transition over to their Medicare benefits, they're going to know what the right decision is for them.
Now, some people are in special circumstances here in the Valley with their, particularly with their drug coverage, and they may have specialty drugs or be eligible for the AIDS Drug Assistance Program, for instance, ADAP. How does that interact with Medicare Part D, and can you still get ADAP and Medicare Part D?
Yeah, that's a great question. I appreciate that one, Jack, because you and I both know some of those medications can be extremely expensive, very unaffordable, but very necessary at the same time. So actually the ADAP program does work together with the Medicare Part D. And when we talk about Medicare Part D, let me just make it clear that it's something that's was created by Medicare, but is not offered through Medicare. You have to purchase a Part D plan through a private insurance company, whether it be through a Medicare Advantage plan or just a separate, what we call a standalone prescription drug plan. But the ADAP program does work, congruently with the Medicare Part D. And for anybody, I'm sure we're going to have some listeners that are going to say, oh yeah, we know about the donut hole. But when you look at, the Medicare Part D program with the donut hole, the actual term for it's the coverage gap, it's based on the total cost of the medications, and you have a yearly allowance that's just over $4,000 for this calendar year. And so when the total cost of your medications exceeds that yearly allowance, that's when you fall into the coverage gap, and that's when the cost of your medications goes up extensively. Now, this is where ADAP kicks in. And I don't know if I shared this with you, Jack, but I have saved to my computer a copy of the ADAP formulary of all the medications that are actually covered through ADAP, because it's not just, specifically HIV related medications. There's actually some other ones that are commonly used as well that are part of that formulary. But any medication that is on that formulary, you're going to get that financial assistance to not only keep the cost of your co-payment down when you're in the initial coverage stage of your Medicare Part D, but then when you reach that donut hole, you're not going to be exposed to paying 25% of a $2,000 or $5,000 a month medication. ADAP's going to keep that affordable for you. Any other medications that you take that are not on ADAP's formulary, you will have to deal with those medications through the coverage gap. But the financial aid that you get through the ADAP program, I just know through personal experience with my clients, it is absolute heaven sent. There's no other way to explain that.
So I have a question that just came up, because a lot of the Medicare Advantage plans include Part D. Does that even apply to those plans, that the Part D plans that are part of the Medicare Advantage plan, ADAP will still apply to those?
Yeah, absolutely. Because, like I said before, your Part D, you get it one of two ways, either part of an Advantage plan or through a standalone D. So ADAP, it doesn't matter to them which version of it you have, as long as you have a Part D in place, it'll work congruently with it.
So we started out talking about open enrollment period. What exactly is that period, so people can mark it down and remember that they need to review their coverage during that time?
October 15th through December 7th. So as agents, we'll be able to start talking about 2022 benefits starting October 1st. But I'm going to tell all of our listeners and watchers today the same exact thing that I tell my agents, my team. Don't commit to anything on October 1st, or really for the first week of October, because things always happen where we don't have all of that information in our hands immediately as of October the 1st. So, give us about a week or so after the 1st to kind of collate all this data and put together our spreadsheets and all the different tools we use to, break this all down to make it very easily digestible for our clients. But, within the first 10 days or so of October, we should be ready to go. And then October 15th, that just marks the first day that we can actually start collecting applications from clients who, want to make changes to their plans. And again, October 15th through December 7th, but those new plan benefits will begin on January the 1st.
Okay. And if someone listening today wants to get in touch with you or one of your agents, how would they do that?
Yeah, we got several different ways. We actually have a contact us form on our website, which is bilhartzinsurance.com. And if you can read what's behind me here, Bilhartz with one L, Bilhartz, bilhartzinsurance.com. There's a contact us little thing you could click on. I can't think of the word right now, but click on that and it'll take you to a simple form. You just put in your name, your telephone number, your email address, and then a little note of, what it is the information it is, what you're looking for. And we can contact you that way. or you can contact us. We've got a couple of different phone numbers, but I'll give my cell phone number because that's the easiest one for me to memorize, which is 760-459-9617. And you can text me, you can call me. Text messaging, you'll probably get a faster response because it takes me a while sometimes to go through my voice messages and follow up with people. I've been so blessed by our communities here with the just the overwhelming trust and willingness to work with my team of agents and I. So a big thank you to all the different organizations that have really supported us all these years, including the Jocelyn Center. Your guys' support and love for us again is immeasurable, and we're very grateful for that.
Well, right back at you. We're so grateful for your support and assistance, for the things that we do. We really appreciate that. Okay. So you're the expert. I've been asking the questions. Is there anything that I didn't ask that I should have?
Oh, Jack, how much time do we have?
Rachel Maddow now.
How much time? What do we got? We got a couple more hours. The truth is, every single person we handle as the individual that they are, because everybody's needs are different. Everybody's expectations are different. Everybody's budgets are different. So, just maybe a quick message to those that are with us, joining us today, or that are watching this, sometime later. Our number one goal is to approach each person as an individual and really figure out what they're trying to accomplish when it comes to their healthcare. And then we're going to give them the solutions that are available. And it doesn't always mean that the solutions are perfect. We're limited in the solutions that we have. But again, we want to share with them what those are so that they can make that great decision for themselves. And a little plug for 2022, I can't share any details because it's not October 1st, but there are going to be some new plans coming into the market here in the Coachella Valley for 2022. And you're definitely going to want to reach out to your agent or broker that you're working with. If you don't have somebody that's assisted you with this before, we would be more than welcome to have you contact us, because there's going to be some great information, some new plans that are coming that are going to put a smile on a lot of people's faces.
Okay, well, that's something for people to look forward and get in touch with you. And also, you and your company, of course, a lot of companies are at the local health fairs that are happening. Jocelyn Center is having one at the end of October. So, people listening can take that opportunity to talk with you or one of your agents directly. So
yeah, October 13th, we will be there.
Okay, thanks for telling me.
October 13th, Jack, we will be there. You just got back from vacation. It's okay.
Yeah. It's been a pleasure talking with you as always, Brian, and a treat that you were the first interview after getting back from vacation. So
I appreciate that very much.
Made it a lot easier. So we really appreciate it. And thank you so much for joining us. And to our viewers, you can join us next Friday at 11 o'clock for the Friday interview show. So thank you, Brian, and have a great day and a great weekend.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.